开微信搜索公众号星际老男孩 SC Boy， 这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐，不要告诉别人哟。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day here of the World Team League WTL 2024 Summer Codes Round 2, day number 2. I'm of course host Live VIP. We just wrapped up with C Duckling Open. It was a bittersweet. It was an unfortunate kind of finale to it. Unfortunately, there was some latency issues from the side of our Polish Protoss player, of one of our finalists. So the finals was cut a little bit short, but that means we're able to jump right into WTL World Team League. Let's go. We just wrapped up with day 1 last night. It was an intense day of StarCraft, and now we're here. We're back with our second match, our second round of lineups. We have Christiana versus Coffee, we have Wayne versus Cyan, and Cham versus Strange, with Starlight Twinkle versus Mystery Gaming. Now, we are behind by a couple of minutes. I want to say like 5 minutes or so. So we will do our best to catch up and try to catch up with the live feed, with the live broadcast of what is going on. Here we go. Up first, we have, of course, our first best of 2. As a reminder, this is going to be a best of 2 as well, not a best of 3 or anything of the sort. Bear that in mind. Oh, as we are diving on in. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Post Youth, we have Christiana for Starlight Twinkle. And in the bottom left, we have Coffee for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. Again, Cristiano, he's a new pickup. If for those who are maybe unaware, Starlight Twinkle used to consist of 3 main players. Starlight Twinkle was Cham, alongside Wayne, alongside Nice. They were the trifecta of Starlight Twinkle. Nice has since left the team. He has joined Team Little Fairy instead, and he's going to be competing for Twisted Fairy as a result. And that did leave a gap. That did leave a hole in Starlight Twinkle, a hole to be filled by another Protoss player. And we now have that player, that is Cristiano. He is a new pickup here from the team, is going to be able to compete in WTL, and Cristiano, he popped off last week. He was so happy with himself, he popped off. If you remember, Cristiano did take down Rainer in their series against Basilisk. It was a wild result, it was a wild series. Again, Cristiano, he has brought down some of the best Zerg players in the world. His PvZ is crazy. And for him to bring down Rainer was impressive. Was very impressive last week. It is a lot to live up to. And yeah, with that was Starlight Twinkle actually winning over Basilisk. That was a crazy result. Starlight Twinkle already starting off with a big win, but now they're up against Mystery Gaming. Mystery Gaming, they took down Offside last week as well. Coffee has been on fire. Coffee has been looking very impressive. He is top 2 Terran in China, top 2 second only to Oliveira, and even then, Coffee has gone toe-to-toe with Oliveira in the past as well. So I do think that these two players are similarly matched here. I would not be surprised if this goes for a 1-1 score, for example, but I'm excited to see where this takes us. Again, predictions in the chat will be open for the second series. It won't be open now just because we're jumping in and this best of 2 has already kind of begun. Did begin ahead of time, so we'll be posting those predictions for the second series. We'll get there. But for now, we do have Coffee going for a 1-1 double gas opener, and we can see why. It's for a Proxy Starport. Okay, straight up 1-1-1 here out of Coffee. Proxy Starport can be one of 2 things. It could be a Proxy Liberator, Proxy Medevac as well. Medevac would be to elevate the Hellions into the main base. Liberator would be to kind of attack from 2 fronts, from multiple fronts. Now, this should be a Medevac, especially based on the building layout based on the map layout. Because there's only one ramp leading into the two bases, it's very easy to defend, very easy to hold on to. Hellions are on the way. We should be getting into medevacs to try to rally and drop those Hellions into a middle line to roast up some probes and to get some economic damage done. There it is. There it is. Medevac is on the way. But Cristiano so quick to scout here. Oh, did he see? He did. He barely did catch a glimpse here of the starport. He's fully aware of what's going on. And Cristiano, he has a little bit of time to respond. Cristiano, he is chronoing out his Stalker. He's going to be fully walling off at that ramp as well. He should be fully walling off. And he is now prepared for the opener, for the build. Good start here for Cristiano. Good start so far, but can he minimize his damage? Can he minimize his losses? Hellions to get across the map. We have not walled off, by the way. We do have some good SimCity, though. But there's a hole. There's a hole here. Behind the middle line, probes are going to be going down. Oh, they line up. No, 6 probes go down. The workers line up, and we're not done, by the way. We are looking for one more worker kill. Looks like we won't be able to get it, but that is 6 probes going down, and we get another volley. 8 probes going down in total. We cancel the medevac, going for a liberator instead. 9 probes going down. Despite the scout, despite Cristiano scouting and seeing everything, he was not in position. The SimCity was not good enough. The probes, they were lining up, and Coffee now suddenly is in a good position. Suddenly this opener was better for Coffee. With that, the pressure is now on Cristiano to bounce back. The pressure is on. He's moving out across the map with his Stalkers as we speak. Blink is on the way. It is a Twilight Council opener for Blink Stalkers. But again, it is not going to be easy. Yeah, you can see him trying to catch the production, but the building has already lifted up. Is already racing back home. Cristiano did miss that starport. Just making sure there's no like tech lab and continued starport production. We can see continued liberator. We're actually creating a liberator in the center of the map. I love this. A lot of top tier Terran players do this in this kind of scenario, because otherwise your starport is going to be stuck floating back home. May as well make use of it, land it out in the open. Is it really going to be scattered? Is it really going to be shut down? And we are pushing on 2 bases. Stim only just started. Stim is still on the way, but we still have some tanks. We have some liberators as well. 1 lib in the main. Coffee is pushing. Cristiano trying to meet the army, but he misses. He does miss the army just barely. He's out of position. We're going for the Nexus. And that Nexus is looking so exposed, so vulnerable. Liberator gets into the main base, and Cristiano, he's being picked apart. Ooh, big tank volleys going off. We get 1 tank, but for so many Stalkers, Blink is still not done, by the way. Coffee doing so much. He shuts down the Stalkers. He denies mining. He gets a cancel on the Nexus. And Liberator comes in towards that natural tri-pronged attack here from Coffee. And Cristiano, he cannot keep up. There's just so much momentum going on the way here of the Terran player. We dive on that Immortal. The Immortal goes down. Now it looks like Coffee is going to be cleaned up, finally. Thankfully, he's being cleaned up, but Cristiano, he's still hurting. He's still hurting here. And 8 probes go down. You can see Coffee just setting up here in the center of the map. And with that, Coffee now has an economic lead. He's up in workers, up in economy. He has mules on top of that. Typically, the Protoss player should be ahead in probes in this situation, and because he's not, he's behind. We can see Cristiano trying to expand and trying to take another 3rd base. Does catch a tank. Not bad. We do at least catch a tank here, but this also means that there's nothing at home to defend. And that means that we're going to be canceling that 3rd base for a 2nd time. Yeah, we force a recall, but there's no saving this Nexus. Liberator just keep the Stalkers busy. Nexus is cancelled. And Coffee just containing Cristiano to 2 bases for as long as he can. It's going to be cleaned up. There is at least that. We do bleed out a medevac, and we lost a tank earlier, so at least from the side of Cristiano, at least he has been catching some high-tech units. He's killed, what is it, 3, maybe 4 tanks so far. He's gotten a couple of medevacs. He's gotten the Liberators. It is still an uphill battle here for Cristiano, but things could be worse. Back at home, Coffee getting into a CC. Oh, that's a bit of a brutal supply block for Cristiano. Will eventually break out of it. Back at home, Coffee getting into the rest of his Raxes, the rest of his production setup, of course. Again, the big thing for Cristiano is the resetting of his tank count. Reset the tank count time and time again. As I say, that's still 2 tanks in the main. Oof. We catch some Stalkers. That's going to be 1 Stalker going down. And we catch the Observer. Keen eyes there by Coffee. Now, there's a lot of potential with these Stalkers, is what I should say. Especially with Blink, we can pick away at Marines, we can catch Medevacs, we can catch tanks. But the boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled. Let's go. Coffee, he knows. He knows how far ahead he is. He knows how little Cristiano has to defend. This is a bold move here for Coffee, but there is that 1 Colossus. Can we somehow hold on? Can we survive this? Coffee rocking up with 3 tanks. Get some tank volleys off. Doesn't get the Immortal. Bear that in mind. The Immortal will survive. Colossus getting a lot of swipes in. Show us the force fields. Not bad. Force fields. They slow down the advance here of Coffee. Liberator comes in from behind. 5 probes go down. We have turrets on the way. The tanks are getting within range of the Nexus. Now, what's important here is that, yes, Coffee did bleed out Marines and SCVs, but he didn't lose any tanks. Coffee didn't lose a single tank of that push. And there's no saving this base. Like, Cristiano cannot engage with those tanks. He's going to try to. He has to. Reinforcements have right. That's 4 tanks he's pushing into. It's not going to happen. We shut down the Colossi. Both of them. The overcharge means nothing. GG gets called, and Coffee takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A solid game there out of Coffee. From the beginning, he was just in the driver's seat the entire game. Very impressive stuff there from Coffee. My condolences to Cristiano. He had a hard time recovering from the initial harassment. Again, to scout and still lose so much of your economy was brutal. And that was the beginning. Well, that was the first domino falling there, as Coffee was then able to just capitalize on that, take an economic lead, push out with his army, and snowball out of control. And now we're getting into our next game. In the bottom right hand corner, we have Cristiano for Starlight Twinkle. In the top left, we have Coffee for Mystery Gaming. Let's go. Let us go. +1 timing big. I mean, it was the push, but also alongside that, it was Cristiano being crippled as well. Cristiano, he just had a really rough start to that game. Down the economy, down the army. If you remember, his 3rd base was denied twice. Twice it was denied. And he barely had any mining in his bases, as there was a Liberator in the main, Liberator in the natural. It was brutal. It was brutal. Cristiano, though, doing his best to try to hold on there, and he was fighting back in his own way. Picking up high-tech units, but alas, still too much to overcome, and now we're getting into game number 2. And hopefully Cristiano can shake it off. Hopefully we can recover here. Hopefully we can bounce back. I'm hoping for a back-and-forth series. I mean, Cristiano, I would say, is the ace player of his team. Looking at their lineup, Cristiano alongside Cham and Wayne. Oh, actually, I don't know if I can say that with certainty. I think Cristiano and Wayne are pretty comparable in skill. Cham is a wild card. Cham, he's like the X factor of his team. Where he did take down Trigger last week. That's true. Like, Cham was wild. He was very chaotic, very aggressive, very all in. Very hard to read. Ooh, as this time Coffee's going for a single gas rope. Is going for a Rax expand. So this time Coffee going for an economic build. Mixing it up here compared to what happened in game 1. Meanwhile, Cristiano going for a gate expand. Okay. We go. So this time we should be having a much more stable start to the game. Because Coffee isn't being aggressive, there's no big opportunity for Coffee to look to get ahead. So, you know, we're just easing away into the mid game, or in towards the early to mid game. We have a Robo on the way here from Cristiano. Interesting, actually, going for a Robo-based opener. With this is a very safe way to play. It's one of two things. We can get into early Immortal production, we can get into early Colossus production as well. The downside here is that Cristiano has no map control early on. He has no Blink or Phoenixes, so he has no way to like chase and shut down drop play and be really active and maneuverable across the map. To make up for that, I believe Cristiano should be going for a War Prism first. With a War Prism, you can be somewhat aggressive and somewhat assertive. Again, not as flexible as you would be with Blink or with Phoenixes, for example. But the plus side is that you do get access to faster Colossus. That's like the purpose of this build, typically. Is a fast Colossus leads into a much more decisive kind of dealing with a bio-based army. And there it is, the Bay is on the way. Safety Immortal first, so we have an army. We have some units to work with, but there's the Bay on the way, as we mentioned, for Colossus. And that should just shut down any kind of, you know, bio-aggression. 3 Rax Marine, or 3 Raxes, for example. Or 3-1-1 base pushes. We can see, though, that Coffee is mixing it up. Did go for an economic opener initially, and behind this getting to a 1-1-1 into Banshees. Okay. Banshees followed by a prioritization of tank production. Interesting. I believe Coffee didn't quite scout the opener and the tech. With these tanks, we're going to have an early game defense against Blink Stalkers, but this looks like the beginnings of a 2-base push. We've seen this a lot from players like Bjorn. We saw this from Oliveira as well, and even Clem. I think Clem did this build against, I almost said Cristiano. It was Clem versus Firefly yesterday, in day 1. Clem, he rushed into early tanks in the Banshees, he pulled a couple of boys, and he moved out. I think it was on Golden Aura, if I remember correctly. It was on Golden Aura. So we'll see if Coffee throws down a 3rd CC, or if he pushes. If he does push, I do like Cristiano's position with those Colossi. Meanwhile, Banshee gets across the map. Ooh, we do not have an Observer ready for this. Probes are going down. Very nice damage here from this Banshee. We got 5 probe kills. There we go, the Observer does pop out. We can force this back, but that's going to be 6 worker kills in total, and the Banshee survives. So Coffee already starting off with a big start. Already starting off ahead. He did get eyes on the Prism, so you can see Coffee trying to hunt down that Prism and trying to shut it down. He rotates over towards the right-hand side. Cristiano, he knows he got scattered, so he rotates over towards the left. Cristiano, he does back off. Again, going for that Colossus drop. Not Disruptor, Colossus. And he misses the army. This is concerning. He doesn't have the Colossus to defend. Oh. No, he doesn't have the Colossus to defend back at home. Harassing across the map instead, and we are forced to recall. Yeah, Cristiano out of position. Tanks a siege up there within range of the base. Colossus does arrive though. And with the help of this Colossus, we should shut this down. Oh, the spread from Coffee. Nice spread here. It takes down the... Oh, it doesn't quite take down the Immortal. The Prism, no! The Prism goes down. The Colossus as well. And it looks like Coffee has too much. Coffee has too much. He breaks through the 3rd base, takes down the mineral line. Gets on top of the Nexus. No more Immortals, no more Colossi. The Viking came in clutch. GG gets called, and Coffee takes the 2-0 over Cristiano. GG. Very decisive push there. Again, we've seen these Banshee tank pushes quite often in this matchup as of late. And again, we spoke about Clem earlier, how he tried it against Firefly. He failed against Firefly. But here, Cristiano, he was out of position. No shield battery at the 3rd base. Of course, his Colossus wasn't at the 3rd initially either. So there was nothing stopping Coffee from just walking up to the 3rd and sieging. He just walked up, siege within range. There was nothing to slow him down. GG, and with that, Coffee able to shut down that army. The Viking coming in clutch as well. And with that, Mystery Gaming starting off with a strong lead. A solid 2-0 here in favor of Coffee. Solid 2-0. Now we're getting ready for our next best of 2. He's using his phone as his cam. Do love to see it. So You can see his lovely face. Likewise, Cyan getting ready. This one's going to be an interesting series here. Once again, I feel like we're pretty evenly matched, but here we go. In the top right-hand corner, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. And in the bottom left, we have Cyan for Mystery Gaming. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets in the chat for how you believe this series will unfold. Will it be a 1-1 score or a 2-0 in either direction? Best of luck with your predictions. Best of luck. Meanwhile, Wayne already popping up here. Mining through that mineral wall, going for the gold base. Rushing into that gold. And Cyan, he doesn't check. He initially is going across the map towards the natural, and he will soon piece it together. But by the time he does, he won't be able to cannon rush it, for example. Won't be able to respond with the forge, but he can respond with the depths. You can see the probe checking the triangular third, and now doesn't quite double back to the goal base, not yet. Yeah, he's going to check the main. He's checking the main base for an early gas or an early spawning pool. Cyan will now confirm that there is no early tech, so now he knows that a hatchery has been taken, and now it has to be the goal base. So Cyan has been able to piece it together. Back at home, how do we respond? We can go straight up just gate expand or gate cyber expand. We can go for a 2-gate opener instead for double adept production. We've seen different reactions from different players. Yeah, the probe does get eyes on it. We've seen the hatchery. Cyan should be expanding. There it is. So it's going to be a gate in the cyber core followed by that nexus. And mining through the minerals. Now he's going to be able to harass with the depths on the right hand side. Ooh, even set up a proxy location. Bappy, what do you have in store for us? Cyan, you have my attention here as Wayne is going to be main darting over towards the gold. Cybercore is done. We don't have a pylon set up though. There's no pylon on the right hand side, not yet at least. Gases are being taken. This would be the time for a pylon from Cyan. So just waiting for our first adept. Warp Gate is not being delayed. Bear that in mind. Warp Gate is on the way. So it looks like it could be a Twilight Council opener, maybe a Robo opener as well. There it is. Twilight Council gets thrown down. Looking to be Glaive Adepts. Could also be Dark Templar. Could be one or the other. Reminds me, I still need to check how Firefly won the 3 games. Oh, watch the VOD, Pappy. Mate, they were really fun games. Really fun games. To sum it up, and again, the summarization doesn't do it justice, but I don't know if I want to spoil it, actually. Do check out the VODs. There's some amazing games. Whether it's on YouTube or on Twitch, you can check them out. But Firefly had an amazing night as we are getting into a Dark Shrine. Okay, this is going to be a Dark Shrine opener here from Cyan, not Glaive Adepts. And the Overlord has yet to confirm. Yeah, Proxy Pylon across the map, and because Wayne knows it's not a Stargate opener, we should be getting safety Spore Crawlers. Like, he has no confirmation whether it's Glaive Adepts, or Charge-Based All-In, or Dark Templar, could be anything. So Wayne should be covering all his bases. Lings are moving out. Trying to get a read on what's going on. Gateway's on the way. That's so we can get faster warp-ins across the map. There's a Roach Warren. 4-minute Roach Warren. Solid timing here from Wayne. Very responsible timing with that Roach Warren. We catch some of the Lings. Spore is on the way. I believe the Spore, yep, it's going to be at the gold. And it should be done in time. And Spores, they don't take long at all to make, so should finish up just in time here. And we have a Spore at the natural as well. Adepts are going to be threatening that natural, though. Wayne responds with his Lings. Oh, right, of course, I almost forgot. This DT variation, this build, has no Robo. There's no Robo, there's no Warp Prism because of that, and because we have saved money by not making a Robo, we're going for a third base. Third base is on the way. DTs are waddling in. Can they get on top of the Spore? No transfuse. And there's no transfuse available. We get on top of the Spore and it's going to go down. We take down one Dark Templar, but only one. And Cyan has control of the gold base. We're going for the hatchery. We're going for the gold. Drones are forced away. Spore is repositioning, but the hatchery is getting so low. Oh no. And it's waddling off of creep. There's no saving the hatchery. How do you shut down the goal? Just give Cyan 3 Dark Templar. And he does get a kill. Remember, there's no mobile detection either, so we can just keep going. We do back off for now. Ooh, the Lings, though, they get a surround on the third base. They force a cancel. That's a pretty big moment here if we had even one DT to defend back at home. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Instead, the DTs are still across the map. They catch a queen. Ooh, they get a second queen as well. Wayne! Bit of missed movement there, rallying his army into the Dark Templar. 3 queens go down. We get a surround here on the 4th. Or on the backup 3rd. So even though Cyan is stuck on 2 bases, even though his 3rd base was cancelled, at the same time, he still has a better economy. At the same time, Wayne is down in drones and is even in bases. So Cyan is still in a good position. Good force field. Yeah, Lings are forced back. Lair is done, so now we have some Overseers. Dark Templar have to back off. And both players are just expanding, getting into their 3rd bases. Really, my eyes are on Wayne. I don't know if you noticed, but Wayne hasn't made a drone in quite some time. He hasn't made a drone. He's amassing roaches as we speak, and he may just go for a 2-base all-in. Yes, there is a 3rd hatchery on the way, but it may just be for larva. As Wayne has been stuck on 44 drones for a couple of minutes now, but oh, there we go. He does make a wave of workers. So he is now droning. Looks like he was just being safe. I think he still wants to apply some pressure here with roach speed. But he is droning. Meanwhile, Cyan trying to hunt down some of these overlords. Yeah, the follow-up Archon drop. Oh, gets an overlord. Gets one. At the same time, Wayne sending out half his army across the map. Our units to defend back at home. Job does get in. A good splash damage takes down a drone. Oh, getting a lot of workers actually. 3, 4, 5 drones go down. And never underestimate the splash damage on an Archon. The counterattack runs into the Stalker army. Cyan defends back at home. Archon harass is not over, by the way. We get another, what, 7 drone kills. An extra 2 workers. And here comes the main army towards that 3rd base. Cyan consolidating his army at that 3rd. Wayne has to respond. Well, it looks like, I think that was an Archon going down, potentially. Did he try to hit that 3rd? Yeah, Cyan just clearing up as much creep as he can. Yeah, it looks like 1 Archon did go down. Bit of miscontrol there out of Cyan. It's a nice win for Wayne. But that's a lot of creep, and another Overlord falls. Another 2 Overlords. That does supply block Wayne. Pretty big supply block, actually. We have high ground vision with the Observer. We can just blink into the main base. Avoid the army. We'll hunt down another Overlord. GG gets called. It's just too much damage there. And Cyan takes game number 1. Wow, GG, Papi. Oh my god. Cyan, calm down. GG, well played. Cyan smiling to himself there, happy about that win. Again, was a stressful moment for him there going up against that goal base, but he did shut it down completely there. Very well done. And with that, we're getting ready for our next game. It is going to be Wayne's map of choice. It is loser's pick, and Wayne, he's going for post-youth. Let's go. In the bottom right-hand corner, so bottom left-hand corner, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. And in the top right, we have Cyan for Mystery Gaming. And remember, Wayne, the pressure is on. The pressure is on. He needs to win here and now. Otherwise, the series is over. Otherwise, it's a 4-0. I mean, we'll still play out the final best of 2, but this is a brutal start for Starlight Twinkle. Especially considering that, again, I do rate both Cristiano and Wayne very highly, but I also rate Coffee and Cyan quite highly as well. Like, it's... they're all quite close in skill, and I was hoping for some 1-1 scores, but Things are looking bleak. Things are looking bleak here for Starlight Twinkle. They need your energy. They need your support in the chat to bounce back. T too hot. He forgot because win. Okay. I see. He got too excited and burned himself. Smooch. Oh, did he still burn? Is his tongue burned right now? Is he like, I need a moment. No shot. No, Cyan, he burned his tongue. No. Oh, smooth. I mean, we've all been there, right? Who hasn't burned their tongue on some hot coffee? Alright, we need we do need a moment here. And hopefully Cyan's okay. Maybe just getting a glass of cold water to cool his tongue down. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good, Pappy, we're good. The coffee was too hot today. True. The coffee's it's too hot. It's too hot. Cyan, calm down. But here we go. We're getting into our next game. And so far, so good. You know, standard openers here from both Wayne and Cyan. Standard openers as we do get into this. My apologies. That is going to be a second gateway on the way here for Cyan. Okay. Oh, Nexus first. Okay, my apologies. Sorry, I was trying to piece together the build of Cyan. It was a Nexus first before the first gateway even. So very greedy build here by Cyan. Very greedy. Like, I had a puzzled look on my face when I was looking at the production tab. I was like, why are the 2 gates still on the way? I was confused for a moment, thinking it was like a 3-gate opener or something, but it was a delayed first gateway. So the greed is real from Cyan. You can do this on post-youth, again, because of the map, because of the features of this map, because you have a free hybrid base in your main. It is so easy to defend, so easy to secure. So with that, Cyan has a worker lead. And once again, Twilight Council opener. Now, meanwhile, across the map, we do see Wayne going for the gold, but not being as greedy as Cyan, because that gold base is the third, not the natural. We'll see if he can get away with it. We saw in the previous game that Cyan was able to punish the gold. Can he do it again? Now, with this Twilight Council opener, it could be Glaive Adepts, or it could be Dark Templar once again. It could be DTs 2 games in a row, 3rd gateway's on the way. We haven't seen the gases yet. If we did, we could try to ascertain which build this is, as Adept does confirm the gold. Good scout here from Cyan. We go. And there it is Glaive. So we're seeing kind of the wide berth of builds available here for Cyan. He is willing to mix it up. Game 1, DTs. Game 2, going to be Glaive Adept Steed. Overlord up. Do we scout? We do not. I think we barely did miss it. Looking at the vision here, do we have confirmation? Yeah, I think we barely did miss the scout. We have an Evo Chamber on the way. Uh-oh. Evo Chamber in production here for Wayne. Not a Roach Warren. Drones are caught out as they transfer over. 2 drones go down. 3 drones even. Good harassment by Cyan. But I'm concerned with this Evo Chamber should be for +1 melee. I believe we're skipping Roaches. I believe we may even go into Banelings. Banelings are not a bad defense against Glaive Adepts, but they're difficult. They're very difficult to work with. There it is, +1 melees on the way. Against pure Ling, Adepts are ideal. There it is, there's that Baneling nest. Now, the way this works is that we need to preemptively morph in some Banelings, and we need to keep up with the Shades. If we're unable to do that, then these Adepts are going to wreak havoc in the bases of Wayne. I'm worried for him. I'm concerned. Lings, they dive in. They do get a surround. A decent surround here on the Adepts. We do shade away. But there's another reinforcing wave, and the problem here is that most Adepts survived. Most Adepts did survive, and the Bailey Nest is still not done. Bailey Nest is still on the way. Cyan trying to bypass those Lings, making his way towards that main. That's a lot of Lings, though. We should be okay. Good positioning here on the ramp. Very nice positioning. Lings ain't trying to engage, but they're going to be shut down. It's a meat grinder. Almost every Ling falls. And now we make our way into the mineral line. Again, that ramp, it's so narrow, it's so small, it's such a brutal choke point. Good positioning by Cyan. Yeah, shading in towards that pocket base. Doesn't commit. Oh, the drones, they came back. No, they came back too soon. We forced the recall. 4 more drones go down. And with that, look at the worker disparity. Look at the massive worker lead for Cyan. He got 7 drone kills. He's on 50 probes. He did force a little lost mine time as well. And now the pressure is on Wayne to counterattack. That's a lot of banelings. That's 15 banelings on the way. Now, something important about Ling Bane is that force fields are king. Like, there's no way to deal with force fields. There's no Ravager. So, a lot is going to come down to these force fields. How good are they going to be? Can we hold on here? As banelings are waddling in. Force fields are thrown down. We do create a choke point, but we're busting in. Up! We barely aren't. Overcharge is, you can see the banelings are zoned away. They cannot engage. Good force fields by Cyan. Another force field here on top of the ramp. Yeah, there's just no way in. And we get 3 more drones. And Wayne is all in. He's all in at this point. More force fields thrown down. We do crash in finally into the Zealots. The probes. Oh, they stopped moving. Oh, they stopped moving for a moment. There are 7 probes go down. But the majority survive. You can see Cyan still up 10 workers. Still up 10 probes. Why? Because Wayne was committed. Now Wayne is droning. As the aggression has failed, now we get the lair on the way. That's such a late 7-minute lair timing for Wayne. Ay, ay, ay. And here comes the counterattack. Now, thankfully, there are some banelings. Oh, the banelings! Yeah, they forced the split out of these zealots. But alas, we have another reinforcing wave of zealots on the way. Banelings, they crash in. Nice last-second split there from Cyan. Yeah, trading as efficiently as possible. But he should be cleaned up. But again, Cyan forcing out more and more Lings. More Zealots coming up as well. Where are the Banelings? Where are those Banelings? They're gone. They haven't been rebuilt. They're not ready yet. And now we're getting on top of the Queens. Nice hold position micro. We are holding on. We're buying time for those Banelings. Behind this, plus 2 is on the way for Cyan. Templar Archives for Archon production. And Wayne holds. It did cost him 7 drones, but he does hold. God, that's a lot of zealots. Other Banelings! Oh, some good connections. A good connection. Oh, God! Initially, and we do catch out more of those zealots as well. Very nicely done. Cyan turning back a little bit too soon there. He's being cleaned up. And we need that Temple Archives. We need those Archons. As the Adept Harass continues. Another 2 workers fall. We force back the army. And now we see Wayne getting into Roaches. Okay, now it's going to be Ling Bane Roach Ravager. A bit of a more diverse army. And Zealot Harass once again continues. Good positioning here. We fall back to the wall. Making use of the terrain. Yeah, avoiding any kind of surround. Banelings once again rolling in. No Baneling speed. And Cyan's taking the gold. He's taking that gold base. Still up in probes. Which again should not be happening. And again, another reason for this is that Wayne has cut drones. He's cut workers. Sticking with a sub 3 base saturation. Decent connection with those Banelings at least. Still amassing more Ling Bane Roach. Zealot Rabbi comes in. There are Banelings at home. So we can shut this harassment down. But here come the Archons. Here comes the main force. Towards that goal base. Good force field. Doesn't get the Roaches though. They do escape. At the same time, a Ling counterattack with his stack defense back at home. We have cannons, we have shield batteries. As Cyan, he will defend. And he just continues to deny any kind of mining here at the goal base. Gets a Roach. Does get Roche. Double Robo on the way. That's going to be for double Immortal production. We don't even need Colossi. We don't even need Disruptors. Immortal Archon is going to be good enough. Yes, there we go. The Immortals are now on the way. Zealot run by once again. For the most part, Wayne should be able to keep up with this. Like, he has been investing quite heavily into his army. As I say that, though, Queen goes down. Catch a Queen. We catch a couple workers. Good target firing out of Cyan. Does focus fire 5 drones. And the problem is that right now there's no answer to the Archon Immortal-based army. There's no economy to support Ling Bane Roach Ravager to max out. There's no tech into Lurkers, for example. Wayne needs to get some damage done. Ling Rambai is going to be stifled. It's going to be stopped. More Immortals on the way. You may see Wayne taking a bit of a supply lead here. That is true, but that is inflated supply. Like, that is not the most efficient army. He's still relying heavily here on Roach Ravager. So the soup does lie. As the quality of the army is still superior here for Cyan. There we go. Banelings are rolling in towards that third base. This is a big moment if Cyan doesn't react in time. Up, we get in. No reaction. And there it is. You can see the kill count there. 12 probes go down. 16. Oh, we're not done. 17, 19 probes go down. A good counterattack here from Wayne. He did need that. His main army still having a hard time pushing in. Oh, Zell's from behind. The Lings, they do go for a big counterattack. They're going for the Nexus, and they get us around. Good piles here on the Immortal as well. And I think that was a cancel. That was a cancel on the Nexus. We did see the refund there. But we contain a Cyan here to 4 bases. Another Ling run by. Where's the side defense? Out of range. We depower the Robos. Wayne making some magic happen here. Baneling run bys, the Ling run bys, the piles from these Ravagers. Now, what's scary, though, is that, again, because of Wayne's low drone count, he doesn't have a bank. What does that mean? If a fight goes badly, if a fight goes awry for Wayne, it's going to be over. It's going to be over then and there. Like, Wayne, he's fighting on a knife's edge. Because he's stuck on 50 drones. Big leg run by, though. Let's go. Cyan doing his best hero impression. The wall is not a wall. It's wide open. Lings, they flood into the main base. We force a recall. Oh, this recall, though, is going to brutalize those Lings. Only 10 probes go down. At the same time, a big Zealot counterattack catching out Queens. This is doing more damage. Sure, Cyan may have lost 10 probes, but look at this. 3 Queens go down and 7 drones. Even more than that. We force back the main army, and now Cyan can push. Wayne is in trouble. Wayne is in trouble here. Again, what was keeping him in this game was his ability to keep Cyan back at home. But look at this death bull of an army. How many Immortals is that? I think that's 8. 8 Immortals, like 10 Archons? Jesus. That's an army. That's a death bull. That's... Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it is 8 Immortals as we do move out. Zealot run back towards the left-hand side, and there's just no dealing with this army. It's not going to happen. As we break through the goal base. Again, we have to try to chip away at this army slowly over time. We barely do not get the Archon. Wayne trying to amass some kind of defense here. And these ramps are difficult to push into. You can see Cyan just rotating around. Gets a kill on the hatchery. And he bypasses the ramp here. Ling Rambai is going to force Cyan back. As the 5th is cancelled again for a second time. We even get a High Templar as well. So Wayne is buying some time, but even Wayne knows he can't deal with this. We can see on the production tab here, Hydrogen is done. Lurker Den is on the way. Lurkers are a way to defend. They are a way to hold. But we need a lot of lurkers, is the problem. We need a lot of lurkers. We need them fast. So can Wayne buy some time once again? Can he go for another run by? Can he force back the army? Can he force a recall? That's what he's looking for. As here comes Cyan, moving out once again. There are 4 lurkers on the way. And lurkers can be impressive against ground toss, but even 4 lurkers pales in comparison to this army. Hive is done. We're getting into lurker range. 5th lurker is in production. We can see Wayne going for another Ling run by. At the same time, a Zealot run by is coming in as well towards the left-hand side. Yeah, Zealots do hit the left-hand side. Files a slow downside a little bit, but that's a kill in the hatchery. A kill on the 5th. Files a rain down on the Immortals. We just take them to the face. It doesn't even matter. We can just stutter step forward. We take down the Roach Ravager and the Lurkers as well. GG gets called. There was no way to deal with the main army. And Cyan takes the 2-0. Even with the burnt tongue. Smooch. Take care, Bobby. Take care. Get out. Oh, we've caught up? And we have caught up with the clean feed. Let's go. Looks like they needed some time to actually gather the players, but Cham versus Strange is about to begin. It's about to begin, and here we go. In the top right-hand corner, we have Cham for Starlight Twinkle. And in the bottom left, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, predictions should soon be open, so get ready for it. There it is. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take this. As a reminder, Starlight Twinkle, Mystery Gaming have already won this series. They've already won 4-0, but there's still a little bit more on the line here. Standings, map score is important when it comes to overall standings at the end of the season to determine who makes it and who doesn't. Likewise, individual rating also matters as well for invites into Masters Coliseum. So here we go. So again, place your bets. You do have a minute or so to get your bets going here with your Twitch channel points. Otherwise, let's get into the game. We do see Strange. Oh my god, going for a Nexus. What is it with the Nexus first so far? I mean, Dynasty, you can be quite greedy here. Similarly to post Youth, where you have a pocket base available to you. Likewise, Dynasty has a pocket gold base. So Strange going Nexus first makes a lot of sense on a map like this. Just because you're that much safer, you're that much more secure, it's that much more difficult to punish. Especially in this matchup. Again, usually you would skip the goal base against a Terran or a Protoss player. We've seen it in TVP, PvP, TVT. You skip it because it can be abused by range-based units. In this matchup, Ling Bane can't really touch you. Ling Bane can't really harass that mineral line. So Protoss and Terran players they're a lot more free to expand in that location a lot faster, to rush into that gold. As a result, we have seen whenever a Zerg player is forced to play on this map, we've seen a lot of Roach rushes. We've seen a lot of early Roach warns to be assertive, to be aggressive, to try to punish that goal base with mixed success. Solid mixed success there when it comes to that kind of response. Catching up. Not everyone is EBA level. True, EBA. I think we were having this discussion the other day. EBA is the best Terran player in Europe. That is true. Second best Protoss. Aye. Yesterday we were having a discussion about Terrans during the stream, and EBA did come up as the best Terran in Europe. Did come up by the chat. I have to agree. I agree with second best friends. Oh god. Shaking my head. As we see, Sham is overloaded as being forced back. One shot away from going down. Barely. Oh, does get shut down. Does fall. At least did confirm the opener. At least is aware of what Strange was up to. Showtime Eva Max X, right? No, Lambo's off race. Yeah. And Mark's off race. I think Mark's off race is that the best Terran? Mark's off race? Kappa. Aye. So now we do see Strange getting into his third, rushing into... Wait, what? Sorry, I was a little bit distracted by the nonsense going on in chat. I was a little bit distracted regarding the opener here. Strange rushing into +1 on the Forge? My apologies. I just made an assumption that it would be something like a Twilight Council opener, but no, it was a Forge opener out of Strange. What's going on? It was a Forge before Robo, before Twilight Council as well. Is this gonna be like +2? Okay. I'm leaning along the lines of maybe like a +2 charge-based all-in, or maybe +2 8 gates Blink Stalker-based all-in. If we're making use of the gold minerals though, charge would make some sense here if we wanted to like throw down a bunch of like a wave of gateways and work towards that. I'm curious. I'm excited. Strange, what do you have for us? What do you have, puppy? What do you have? Back at home, we have Cham going for his lair. Was a bit of an earlier lair timing there. Roaches are amassing as we speak. We spoke about this earlier, how on this map we have seen a lot of earlier roach-based play and roach-based aggression in ZVP. And the Immortal has begun. There's +2, as you mentioned. It is going to be a +2 timing of some sort, whether it's charge or blink, yet to be determined. Double robot. Wait, oh my god. Okay. Not going to be either here, not yet, as we're getting to a second robot, getting to a bay as well. Strange, he's cooking, papi, he's cooking. Let's go. So we only got the Twilight Council for +2, by the way. The Twilight Council was just for +2, we're just massing up Immortals. And there it is. Blink is now on the way. Delayed Blink, but is on the way after the setup of the production. And here we go. Cham collapsing on the army. Does have a lot of Ravagers. Can he get this around? Does get the sentry. Cannon does fall. The overcharge putting in a lot of work. Good force fields here, but they're being knocked down one after the other. Cham busting his way through. We're running out of Lings. We're bleeding out a lot of Lings here, but it looks like we barely do get on top of the army. Shield battery goes down. Boys are being pulled. The army's forced back for a moment, but here come the reinforcements. And Cham with this all in before +2 kicks in, before the second robo kicks in. Cham, can he get on top of those Immortals? It's so close. But he gets 19 probe kills. He cripples the economy. And he has control of the low ground. Again, Cham cutting workers at 46. Just massing Lings across the map. And again, this is how Cham beat Trigger, if you remember, last week. Cham did not trigger down with a Ling Ravager all in. And we have the Nexus. Now, at least Strange did keep his Immortals alive. I'm impressed. I'm impressed here. The Immortals did survive this. All of them. But again, that's 23 probe kills. And from here, Cham, he can rotate around and punish that mineral line. He can pile down that mineral line and make it so difficult for Strange to mine from it. And knock him down to a 1 base economy. As Colossi are on the way. Good force fields. Oh, we do catch the Ravagers, but who caught who? The Colossus! No! Colossus does survive, barely. Whew. Does make it out. Strange gonna try and stabilize, but behind this Cham, he has been droning. Something that Cham rarely does, but he has been droning up. Ling Rambai coming in. The wall is not a wall. Yeah, the mineral line has opened up. We bust on in. Nice hold position here. Inside mineral line probes are going down. Oh my god, so many of them. I say that. 2 probes go down. Still a decent amount. Lings will escape. The probes got low, but most did survive. Most probes did make it out alive there. Strange going for a counterattack. Now, Cham has been a little bit greedy here, droning up to 62 or 61 now. But now he's focusing on his Roach Ravager. He's amassing an army. Ling's going for another counterattack. And can Cham hold? What does Strange have to work with? 3 Immortals, 2 Colossi, a good Stalker count. He has +2, remember that. Did rush into it, +2 versus the +0 of Cham. Spine Crawler buying some time. More Ravagers morphing in. As Strange, he just rotated around towards the gold. Cham trying to collapse on this. Won't be able to. Does pull back his workers. Hasn't engaged yet. But Strange is a little bit isolated. We could try to catch that army. Stalker's being a little bit ambitious here. Oh. 2 of them go down. Oh, that is a brutal supply block. 7 Overlords on the way here for Cham. Ay, ay, ay. Is going to slow him down a little bit. 8 Overlords on the way. But the Hive is done, and we're getting into Viper production. That is going to be our answer to the Colossi. To yoink them in with those Vipers. Meanwhile, Strange, he's, again, recovering in the worker count at least, but what about the supply? What about the army here? What about everything else? Strange should be stuck at home, but with the arrival of these Vipers, we can break him. We can try to break this defensive position here. Cham can push in. And from here, Strange going to be pulling back towards his 3rd base, towards his would-be 4th. He has 3 Colossi, not a bad amount. Cham has to be careful to push in prematurely. His Vipers are ready. Yeah, they're topped up. We're looking for those abductions, looking for those yoinks. Can we get those Colossi? We get 1, we get 2, and we get all 3. Yeah, 3 Colossi get yoinked, and it looks like 2 of them do escape within range of the overcharge. Strange, he's holding. Does keep them alive. Yeah, and he forces back the army, diving on top of the roaches as well. Strange, popping off. And he's gonna be able to shut down every single roach, every single Ravager as well. What an insane fight here from Strange. Despite the supply lead from Cham, didn't even matter. Did misjudge. And Strange, he's pushing. Oh my god. Crazy. Again, Cham a little bit too excited earlier, a little bit too trigger happy with those abductions. Despite that, the Colossus did survive. Now Cham, he does remax. He's pushing in. Here comes some more yoinks, and this time we can shut down the Colossi. Yeah, we do get 2 of them. Strange did overextend. Not expecting the remax. Despite the incredible defense he just had, he does throw away a lot of his army. And now Cham is back in the driver's seat. That was a tense moment there. That was a tense moment. And I mean, Strange was popping off, don't get me wrong. That was an impressive defense earlier. But again, Strange, he got a little bit too excited. He moved out a little bit too much. He overestimated what he had, and he underestimated the remax potential of Cham. And with that, Cham, now the pendulum swings back in his favor, and can Strange pull off another miracle defense? The problem is that he's down to 1 Colossus. Vipers are full of energy once again. We're pushing in. Here come the yoinks. And this time there's no escape. This time they're not getting away. Not again, Pat. Not again. And Cham is going to be fighting back for his team. Christiana and Wayne may have struggled, but GG gets called, and Cham takes game number 1. GG. Let's go. Who's up? And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Cham for Starlight Twinkle. El Chamaco, if you will. And sporting in the top left, we have his opponent. We have Strange for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Jeff Bezos in the chat. I did notice you earlier in that previous game, but a shout out to Jeff Bezos subscribing 12 months, a year of support. Thank you so much, Jeff. Gracias, papi, gracias. Papi, thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Always, papi, always. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you. Thank you so much. See the chat. Is Tosimba? Can we have that discussion? Never mind. We cannot have that discussion. Este Jeff. Mectarian is Imba, papi, Imba. True. Here we go. We're selling on in to our second game. And Amazon, so I can spare a Prime sub. Oh, thank you. We appreciate it. Always do. Oh, mate, Jeff. I know how tight things can be sometimes. To afford that sub, do appreciate it. As behind this, Strange is going for a gate expand. This time a tempered build. If you remember last game, he went for a Nexus first, but that is something more viable on a map like Dynasty, on a map like Post Youth as well, which is what we've already seen tonight. Here on Oceanborn, something a lot more standard, something a lot safer here. That is Strange. Not cutting as many corners. Settling into his opener, but this time I'm going to be paying a little bit closer attention to Strange. Again, it caught me off guard when I, looked at the production tab last game and I saw +1 attack on the way with a Robo before Twilight Council. I was in shock as to what I was seeing. Tried to piece it together, and yeah, it was a very interesting build out of Strange. Didn't quite get going, unfortunately. Cham was able to stop him before he really could, and now we have a much more standard Stargate opener. Stargate from Strange. Cham getting into his Hatchcast pool. Likewise for Cham, he's a very aggressive player, very aggressive, can be very all-in. So we'll try to keep an eye on his worker count, keep an eye on his saturation, on his roach production. I would not put it past him to go for another 2 or even 3 base push. Would not put it past him. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. Gracias, Venitron. Venitron? Thank you. As interesting, it's going to be a Phoenix first, not an Oracle. Okay, now with a Phoenix-based opener, we're going to be hunting down Overlords. We're going to be hunting down Overlord after Overlord here on the map, denying vision from Cham, and this can lead into Glaive Adepts. Now, we have seen these more, quote-unquote, like macro Glaive Adept follow-ups where you don't have a Robo, you go for a Twilight Council into a third base. I'm curious if that's going to be the case here for Strange. As interesting, we're investing into a second Phoenix. Okay. Now, with this second Phoenix, we're going to be able to threaten Queens. We should be going up to at least 3. At least 3 Phoenixes. This can be supported by charge lots. More often than not. But I'm curious. As we're going for a Robo. Okay. Robo before expansion. With that Robo follow, we can go into Immortal production or work towards Colossi. Forge is on the way. Okay, once again, very tech heavy, still staying on 2 bases. But because of the Forge, we should be expanding. Like, we should be working towards a 3rd base. It's a delayed 3rd, but should be on the way. I say that just because we're going to be working on upgrades, and it's going to take a while for those upgrades to really kick in. Meanwhile, Cham throwing down an early Baneling Nest. Uh-oh. And he's going for his own Lingbane aggression. Oh. No. Looks like we have a little bit of a hiccup here in the connection, but should be okay. I say that. Again, we are casting from a clean feed, and sometimes a clean feed can be a little bit unstable. So far, so good. There we go. Phoenixes, they do hit that natural base. Again, there are 3 of them. We do pick up 2 drones. Immortals are amassing. And Cham is droning. Okay. I assumed that he was going to be hyper-aggressive with Ling Bane, but he would have been. But Cham confirms there's no 3rd. There's still no 3rd base, by the way. I assumed there would be with +1. But Strange is still stuck on 2 bases. And there we go. Finally, the probe moves out. We are looking to expand. Again, a late third, but it's on the way. Meanwhile, we do get eyes on the Roach Warren. We shut down an Overlord. A couple more drones go down in the flyby. We've gone up to four Phoenixes. 3 probes go down, 5 in total. Good damage dealt here by Strange. Behind this, they're working towards Immortals. There's the Bay on the way for Colossus or Disruptor production. I imagine Colossus. +1 is on the way. Working towards +2. Once again, just a really tech-heavy style, and we ignore anything like Blink or Charge for now. We're working towards that eventually, but there's no big prioritization of it. It's interesting. It is interesting here from Strange. As we come back in, he's so heavily reliant on these Phoenixes, and he's getting damage done. He's putting in the work. 5 more drones go down. Sham is struggling here. Oh my, oh, the trades! Oh my, I didn't realize! Strange not losing a single unit so far. That is impressive. I mean, again, he's only been harassing with these Phoenixes, but he's been attentive. He's been very attentive with them. And here we go. Strange is now pushing with a bit of a kitchen sink of an army. He's got some sentries, immortals, gateway units, Phoenixes as well. No Warp Prism to reinforce, bear that in mind. That's what's odd to me about this move out. There is no Prism, but we're taking up even further. Second Force, Twilight Council. Bold move out here from Strange. We're going to be knocking down these force fields, but another wave of force fields gets thrown down. And we get a kill in the hatchery, just barely. We force the recall. Can we get the Immortal? We cannot. Ooh, that was a clutch recall there from Strange. Does save all of his high-tech units. The Immortals get away. We get a kill in the 4th hatchery. 1 sentry has died this game for Strange. Oh my god. But remember, he had a late third. He had a very late third base. Now it's getting up and running. Again, we're taking up very heavily behind this. Temple Archives now on the way. That's going to be for Archon production. Charge in production as well. Second Robo. We've been focusing a lot here on Strange. From the side of Cham, he's still just focusing on Lingbane Roach Ravager, which is very similar to his playstyle last game. He didn't hit any kind of crisp timing with his upgrades, or he wasn't anywhere near as aggressive this time. And unfortunately, well, to be fair, just because he didn't see the third, I'm pretty sure Cham assumed it was a 2-base all-in, but it wasn't. As a result, Cham doesn't have the best economy here. He's actually falling behind in the economy compared to Strange. Yeah, I do feel a big part of that is because Cham thought that Strange was going to be more aggressive than he was. So this like offbeat builds from Strange, it's hard to read. I imagine it's quite hard to read here. Cham, he's trying to retake his 4th, now redroning a little bit. Hive is done, working towards Vipers. At least Cham has the Vipers to work with. Now we do have some anti-air for said Vipers with those Phoenixes, so Cham has to be careful. Does have to take care here. Cham moves out, gets eyes on the 5th, sorry, the 4th. Moving out with his main army. Looks like Cham is content with his drone count, 74 workers for Cham. As the Ravagers are being abused, 2 Ravagers go down. Cham trying to max out, he does! He's at 200 supply. 4 base saturation, 200 supply of Lingbane Roach Ravager. We're rolling in. Good force fields. We do only get 1 of those Colossi, the other 2 as well. And we do manage to bring 2 of them down. Good pickups, but here come the reinforcing Immortals. They come in from the side, Bailey, they crash in as well. But the Immortals stand strong, everyone survives. And Cham is being forced back. And this is an army that can counterattack. Cham, again, he didn't have the best bank behind this. He's trying to remax. Working on Adrenal, but here comes Strange. Once again, no Warp Prism. Can't reinforce, but he does deny the hatchery. Before backing up. Does pull back. He's got triple Robo Production. My god. He's making 2 Colossi and 1 Immortal at a time. Strange has to back off. Cham, again, still having a really hard time remaxing. Working towards a Spire. Doesn't have the bank, though, to get into Mass Muta. Not yet. I don't think Strange missed an opportunity there, just because Cham still did have these Vipers up and running, and would have been able to come back in with Blinding Clouds and Yoinks on abductions. So I think it was quite mature of Strange to pull back. He's remaxed, actually maxed out at this point from the side of Strange. He will catch almost a Ravager. Powerbomb does connect. Oh, the pieces. 1 or 2 of them going to be going down. Nicely done there by Cham. Army's pushing in. Then we collapse on the army. We go for some abductions. Do we have enough to really kill these Colossi, though? And 2 of them barely go down. The Immortals are getting low. It's a very close fight, but it looks like Strange barely has enough. Banelings are rolling in. We take down 2 more Immortals. Just barely. Where's the warp in? Where's the reinforcements? Bars are going to be connecting, and the prism goes down. We deny the warp in. But there's still too much. There's still 4 Immortals on the ground. And Strange is still breaking through. Yeah, it's also coming in. We have the Phoenixes. We can pick up some of these Ravagers as so. Pick them up. We shut them down. And Strange is not stopping. Cham is trying to remax as quickly as possible. He's rebuilding and remaxing with roaches. Strange backs off. I like this. Strange, he just backs off. Consolidates his army. Waiting for his reinforcements. Again, there's no rush here for Strange. He already killed the base. He's up in workers. Up in economy. And sure, Cham may have a Spire, but again, he can't really make use of it. Right now, he's fighting to survive. Mutas here would just trigger a push from Strange. And Cham is going to have a hard time defending, even with what he has now. It's not going to be easy. Strange pulling away Cham's attention towards the left. Pushing through the center. That is 22 Banelings on the way. That is a lot of Banelings, to be fair. That's a lot of Banelings, man. You have to be careful with those Zealots. As the 2 run-by is kind of coming across each other there. But here we go, Strange pushing in towards that left-hand side. Banelings roll in as well, but where are the Zealots? They're off on the other side. The Banelings, they take down 1 Immortal. GG gets called. There's no dealing with this army. We just take the Banelings to the face. Just no way to stop that army. And Strange ties things up 1-1. GG, well played, Strange. He fights back, he bounces back, and does redeem himself. Congratulations here to Mystery Gaming for taking the series 5-1. A very strong performance here from Mystery Gaming. Again, I expected this to be closer. I expected Cristiano and Wayne to have more of a back and forth and at least take a couple of maps. I expected 1-1 scores all around, not gonna lie. But Coffee and Cyan, they were hot, they were on fire. GG, well played, congratulations to Mystery Gaming. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Shopify versus Twisted Fairy. See you soon. See you soon. Happy, see you soon.
暴风 M6 旗舰 Pro 按摩桌带小弹腰2.0。3D 云朵枕，空调座舱，硬地机械地。
biu 是我运营的产品，我想通过它和更多不懂分寸的人一起探索世界的边界。正是这些不懂分寸的人，也许他们不被理解、任性、固执，甚至疯狂。
就是我。
但如果没人去打破边界，谁又能玩透世界呢？
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”。这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
2024 Summer Codex Round 2 Day Number 2. We have returned with Shopify versus Twisted Fairy. Let us go. We have our lineups. We have Lambo versus Nice in a ZVP. We have Beyond versus Stats in a Terran versus Protoss. And Hearthstone versus Classic in a PvP. Oh boy, here we go. Quite a lineup here, of course. Twisted Fairy had a rough start to the season. They did take a loss in the first round. Meanwhile, Shopify, the opposite. They were able to take a win in the first round against Berserker Esports. They still had a very close series, though. If you remember, Hearthstone versus Battle B was a 1-1 score. Scarlet versus DNS also 1-1 as well. Beyond did end up carrying Shopify into their win in week 1. How are things going to turn out here in week number 2? As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Lambo for Shopify Rebellion. And in the top right, we have Nice for Twisted Fairy. And if you're in the chat, predictions will soon be open, so you can place your bets on who you believe is going to take this initial best of 2. Best of luck in said chat. Until then, we are just settling into our openers again. We're loading into Post Youth. Post Youth is a very unique map in the map pool, has a pocket base, has a free natural in the main, so you are free to expand and free to be a little bit greedier here than you would otherwise on other maps. And if you're in the chat, there they are. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on how you think the series will go. And as you're placing your bets, a big shout out to Kuremisago in the chat. 41. Thank you so much for the subscription. God, papi, God. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the stream. Hope you enjoy the cast. If you wish, you can join our Discord server. If you do, subscribers do gain access to replays. We do give out replay packs from tournaments we have permission to, from events that we host ourselves, from OSC events, from Kung Fu Cups, for example. So again, replays are available if you want to learn or even watch yourself some of these games from some of the best players in the world. We got you covered with those replays. Otherwise, enjoy. As Lambo is rushing into the goal. Okay, so it's going to be hatch first. It's going to be a hatch pool opener here from, hatch gas pool opener here from Lambo, with the hatchery being taken as the goal base. Nice has yet to confirm. He's looking for the goal, does confirm that there is no natural being taken, and now we'll check the goal base. We'll confirm the shenanigans that Lambo is up to. does confirm, even stealing some of those minerals as well. And the question becomes, how does Nice respond? How does he punish this? That becomes the next question here. Again, we saw Wayne earlier today attempt to expand and attempt to take this base, but Wayne was punished by Cyan. We'll see if Nice can do the same. For now, it is going to be a gate expand. We do have our Cybercore in production as we speak from Nice. Quickly checking, was it a 2-gate opener? I think it was. No, okay, one gate. I saw the pylon on the minimap and I thought it was another gateway. So just single gate expand opener here. So standard response by Nice, going for a Zealot first. Interesting choice, being a little bit safer than normal before going for that Stalker. It is going to be a Stargate opener. So with this, Nice isn't responding too hard. He's not going for an initial Adept. He's actually making a second Stalker behind this. Interesting. Okay. So 0 Adept aggression. 0 Adept harass here from Nice. Is getting into Stalkers, followed by Oracles, I imagine, but only going to be relying on those Oracles to harass across the map. Outside of that, the Stalkers are getting map control. Here we go. As the Overlords are being forced back. Third base is being taken here by Nice, and interesting, we're not going for the Oracle, we're going for a Void Ray. Nice, he's allowing Lambert to get away with this, by the way. We have no aggression whatsoever, no Adept harass, no Oracle harass, no nothing. Just getting into our own third and getting into a Void Ray. This means that Lambo is freely mining from that gold. He's working towards his hybrid natural as well, working towards his third. And Lambo, he's cutting some drone production here. Very early Roach 1 we're pushing. Okay, Lambo is going for an all-in. Lambo is going for an all-in off of this gold base. Lings are amassing. Queens are on the way. Roach production is about to commence. And we are boosting. We're just spreading that creep as quickly across the map as possible. Nice is in trouble and Nice does not know. Nice is in the dark. And why does he not know? Because it isn't just about Adepts and Oracles harassing. Adepts and Oracles, they also keep eyes and tabs on your opponent. They allow you to get an eye on the drone counts, on the Queen positioning, on the creep, on the army as well, and on the tech timing. But Nice, he doesn't see any of that, and here comes the all-in. The all-in from Lambo is on the way, and Nice is in the dark. He has the one Void Ray, he just shut down an Overlord. Oracle comes in, does get eyes on the army itself, but we just threw down 2 Robos! Oh my god, 2 Robos and a Forge as well! Nice is being too greedy. He's taking up so hard, and he has to give up on the third. There's no saving the third base. Nice, he knows it. He cannot defend. But can he even defend his main? You can see in a panic, we have 2 shield batteries on the way. A backup pylon as well. Good force field on the ramp. And that's going to be a kill on the Nexus. And we can see that Lambo, he's content with this Nexus and he's droning up back at home. Lambo is now droning. Is bleeding out a couple of drones to this Oracle, but only 2 workers. And there's that kill on the Nexus. From here, the Queens should be racing back home. Yeah, we go. They do turn around. Queens, they race back home, and all Lambo has to do here is just contain. Just contain for as long as possible, drone up behind this, and work on Lingbane Roach Ravager. Nice has some recovering to do. Once again, good force field, though. Oh my god, Nice. Catching a lot of Lings and Roaches, to be honest. That's a good chunk of army going down for free. Not bad here. As I say that, we do bleed out the Oracle. That's less nice. So the Oracle was thrown away, but we did catch a good number of units there. So not a bad trade from Nice. He's still behind, don't get me wrong. He's still stuck on 2 bases. We're making 2 Immortals at a time, plus 1 attack, and the Twilight Council's on the way. Now, without a Twilight Council, I can't imagine Nice being too aggressive. Without charge or blink or anything of the sort, he's probably going to be stuck back at home defending. Which means that Lambo is free to drone. Lambo is free to be greedy and cut corners. He is taking a 4th, but we can do more than that here. For now, we have charge on the way. Lair just finished. Remember, Lambo earlier was very committed, which means his lair is late. His lair is late, his upgrades are late. There's no Evo chamber, there's no +1, there's no +2 or anything like that. There are other things that Lambo has to catch up on as a result. And there it is, +1 range just now begins. Ooh, and that's a brutal supply block. what I'm getting at is that Nice has a way to bounce back, but it's not going to be an easy road to take. Nice, he has, yeah, it's still quite a bit to climb. As the Overseer is being shut down, we have Blink on the way. Nice does have an upgrade advantage, again, because there was no +1, or the Eva Chambers behind this. So Nice is going to be able to get into +1 and +2 that much faster. Disruptors on the way. I like this from Nice. So Disruptors, they're very high. Oh, never mind. I was going to say Disruptors are very high risk, high reward, and considering that Nice is behind, Disruptors would be a good way to bounce back in supply and get some big Novas off. As I was saying that, though, he cancels the Disruptors. Nice force fields on the Queens, but they transfuse each other. We keep each other alive. The surround! The Immortals are being caught out. We force the recall, and we do focus down the Void Ray. Not the Immortals, though. They do manage to get away, but you can see we don't have an army. We don't have an army. Nice was hoping that Lambo would back up, but Lambo, he has the killer instinct to move out across the map. He's going for the kill, going for the throat. And Nice is just not ready for this. Nice, he needed time, and time is something that he did not have, that Lambo did not give him. GG gets called, and Lambo takes game number 1. Ooh. GG. Bobby. GG, well played. Again, Nice, he did cut a lot of corners. He was being very greedy, and it does kind of come down to his opener. Remember, Nice, he went double Stalker. He didn't make a single Adept at the start of the game. He didn't make an Oracle either, and that means 0 scouting information. Here we go. In the top left, we have Lambo for Shopify, and in the bottom right of Golden Aura, we have Nice for Twisted Fairy. But again, because Nice had no means to scout, I mean, there are ways to make up for that. We can go for, say, a hallucination scouter. We had a sentry. We can fan out some probes. We needed something, anything to scout our opponents, and unfortunately we had no idea what was happening until it was already in our face, and by then it was too late. By then, Nice had already made additional gateways, had already made 2 more robos, had already made a forge for upgrades. He was already investing his money into tech, whereas he needed it in an army, in defenses back at home. You know, it is possible to defend that third base there, but Nice, if only he knew it ahead of time. So it was just a very strong start for Lambo, and yeah, Lambo just secured his win. Just made sure he hit Nice before he was able to build back up. And that is a Nexus first. Let's go. We're settling into game number 2. This is Nice's map of choice, and Nexus first here from Nice. Bold move, but I kind of like this. Obviously, Lambo, he's not above going for 2 and 3 base all-ins. I mean, that's what we had last game. It was essentially a 2 base all-in. Third was just for Larva. That's what we saw last game. But the likelihood of Lambo going for an earlier pool timing or some earlier game aggression than that, not very high. So Nice being a little bit greedy here, and he should be able to get away with it. So it's going to be a Nexus first into a 2-gate opener. Okay, this tells us that Nice, I imagine, is going to be a little bit more aggressive with the depths. He will be active with Glaive Adept. I'm getting ahead of myself. With Adepts, of course. Vanilla Adepts. Can get some damage done. Can scout, of course, across the map. We shall see. So we are settling into our game. As Cybercore now in production. We have our Safety Zealots on the way here for Nice. Here we go. Has a Hearthstone WTL match already been pre-played, seeing as he is playing in ESL in 20 minutes? Typically, if that's the case, they will play their games ahead of time and submit replays. For example, this series here between Lambo and Nice is done by replays. Why? Or how can we tell? No cams. There are no cams right now. Usually that is indicative of the players playing ahead of time and submitting replays just because of something like ESL clashing scheduling wise. So I'm pretty sure that Hearthstone has done the same. The only people that know of the outcome of these games that have been submitted are the players themselves, and maybe the teams themselves if they told them. But outside of that, we don't know the outcome, don't know what has happened. Experiencing it for the first time here. Here we go. Again, Lambo scouting across the map, going for the Stargate. Oh, it does confirm the Stargate that's on the way. As a reminder, last game at Nice did go Void Ray first, and I would not be opposed to another Void Ray opener. to go into a more standard game and to hide the build overall. As there we go, Adepts are on the way. This time we will have something on the map to scout and to harass. That is a brutal supply block. Wasting a chrono boost on the Stargate less than ideal, but it is going to be the Void Ray. And again, I do like this. I like the idea of, if you go for a Void Ray opener in game 1, to go for it again in game 2 and have a different build as a follow-up, because there's a lot available to you. There's a lot of different builds, there's some cheese, there's some standard play after a Void Ray based opener. So we'll see. We shall see. As Adepts, they do cancel the shade. Boys are being pulled, by the way. Where are the Lings? There are none, and we're getting a lot of damage done here. There is no WSS Game Hard, but that's going to be, what, 4 or 5 drones going down. Very nicely done by Nice. Gets a good chunk of workers. Does confirm saturation. Does confirm the lack of army. And we also shut down that Overlord. Meanwhile, I believe there is still no tech. There's no Bailey Nest. There's no Roach Warren. We're going Lair first. This tells us that Lambo isn't being aggressive, that he is going for the mid game. That's around a 4-minute 30 Lair timing, so he's just happily droning, getting his third base. And Nice, as that is happening, is rushing to a fleet beacon. Okay. And this is something you can do off of a Void Ray opener. Again, because there's no Overlords, because there's no scouting, we are rushing into either Carriers or Tempest. Both have their roles, both have their place. But we are planning to rush into Skytoss. Oh boy. Okay, Nice, we'll see what you got. And again, this time Lambo won't punish him. If you remember last game, Nice was being very tech heavy. He was punished for it. Lambo did go for an all-in and crippled Nice before he could get going. This time, Nice should get away with these carriers. Oh my god, but Lambo throws down the Spire. Bearing in mind, he is not scattered. He doesn't know what's going on, but I believe the Spire is for Muta play. I believe he's planning to go into Mutas and will happen to have the Spire for Corruptors as well. So Lambo is gambling a little bit here, and this is going to work wonders for him. Like, again, right now he's not thinking of carries, he's not thinking of Skytoss, he's thinking of his own Muta play. But it's all going to work out a little bit better here for Lambo. Tech-wise. Meanwhile, still being active with his Lings, poking in. There, of course, has been done. We haven't seen an Overseer Scout yet. Is this played live? Yes. Yes, the stream is live, but these games were submitted ahead of time. From our understanding. Slings, they do get eyes on the would-be 4th base. Slings are amassing 4th bases on the way. There's +1 air attack. Carriers have yet to fully reveal themselves. Not yet. Oh, but the Lings, there we go, as they check the natural, they do confirm the Cybercore researching, they confirm the Carriers, and Corruptors are now on the way. Big scout here from Lambo. Did not waste any resources on Mutas. Corruptors are in production. So Lambo's in a really good, he's in a really good spot. There's no, like, 3 or 4 carrier timing that Nice can hit anymore. He's working on a Mothership, working on Blink, +1, Templar Archives is on the way. He's looking to support his Skytoss. And what I like here is that he's not making too many carriers. He's focusing quite a lot actually on more supportive units and a ground-based army. Corruptors reveal themselves, they shut down the Oracle, they're working their way towards that 4th. Lings are coming in, only 4 Stalkers. Good positioning though. Good positioning overall. Blink is still not done. But you can see Nice has to be very careful with these carries. He cannot expose them, cannot push in. Otherwise he's going to be punished. But there we go. He now has a safety of the shield battery and an overcharge as well. He is over that 4th. Now, the goal of Lambo would be to try to drag the carriers out of position, if at all possible. Bearing in mind as well that Lambo does not know the blink isn't done. So he's just being very careful with those Corruptors. Gets into the main, going for the the Templar Archives. A big snipe will deny Storm. That is huge. Yeah, Storm is shut down. Lambo's maxed out. He's been able to drone up to 87. That's the other plus side here. Because Nice is being so tech heavy, this is why what I assumed that Lambo would have done in game 1 is you can just drone up to 80. Drone up to 80, take your entire half of the map. And now with the better economy, max out. And now we're coming in. We have Queens, Roaches, and Ravagers towards the left-hand side. Creep is spreading. Carriers are forcing back the Overlords, though. Bit of an awkward push there from Lambo. Weeds out a Queen. So good start from Nice. Now, how's he supporting his army? Storm is restarted, plus 2 air attack on the way. We're getting to Void Ray production once again. Corruptors are pushing in. We do have those shield batteries. The Biles. Ooh, they don't quite shut down the cannons. They take down the Stalker. But Nice, he's holding. He is holding strong here. And Lambo cannot break this. We force back the army. We kill the Queens. Lambo does at least escape with his Corruptors. Didn't really bleed out any of them, but did lose all of his Queens. So that was a brutal fight. Again, you can see just how heavily fortified Nice was. Really what Lambo has to focus on here for now is just containing. Just make sure that Nice cannot expand and take a 5th. Make sure we deny a 5th base and take up into Brood Lords, into Lurkers. We can see here Hive just started. That Hive is a little bit late. It does look like actually Lambo thought he could have broken him. Based on the Hive timing, it looks like Lambo assumed that he could have broken Nice then and there. So Lambo wasn't thinking further ahead. So some of this tech and upgrades are a little bit delayed. I mean, now they're on the way, sure, but this is giving Nice a little bit more time. And now Nice is maxing out. And that's terrifying. See Lambo pushing towards the left-hand side. Try to knock down those gateways. Nice rotating over. Stalkers, they should be able to blink away. Again, this 4-base setup on Golden Aura is so difficult to break. Because of the terrain, because of the Sim City. But the 5th, that's a different story. You can see here that Nice is having a hard time expanding. Whether it's on the left or right-hand side. There's Creep on the left and there's Ling Roach on the right. Nice can still not get a base up. Meanwhile, the Hive is completed. We have Lurker upgrades on the way. Again, Lambo identifying that his ground army is what's lacking right now. He has Corruptors, sure, but we have seen many a good Zerg player dive to the ground remax of the Protoss. Even if he kills all the carriers, what about the ground army? So that's what the Lurkers are for. I mean, you can go Lurker, you can go Broodlord if you wanted to. There's kind of different ways of getting there. You can go Ultra as well. The Lurkers are in position at the same time. Once again, we cancel the 5th. Lurkers have to pull back. But Nice is being all in here. Again, he still cannot expand. Lambo pushing in towards a 4th. And Nice, he has to commit. There's no turning back. There's no energy for a recall either. And no recall available. Corruptors are racing back home. Lurkers are in position. Do we have detection? Do you have a revelation? Oh. Oh yeah, we do have detection here. Server with the army. Corruptor, they go for the Mothership. Mothership does go down, but big storms on the Corruptors. The Corruptors are falling. The Carrier stands strong at the same time as Stalkers, they bust into the natural. And Lambo's in trouble. He's in trouble because of his tech. His tech and his production is under fire. We have 35 Hydras on the way, but we have Storm. Look at all those High Templar. As long as we hold on, as long as we don't waste the storms. Boys are being pulled. Hydras have arrived. And where are those storms? Do we even need it? it would help. Ravagers coming in. Some of the High Templar get focused down. 4 or 5 High Templar go down. We do not spend a single Storm. That's a big misstep there from Nice, but it doesn't even matter. He's breaking through nonetheless. Who needs Storm? Not even. As we finish the warp in, and Lambo, his army has crumbled here and now. The 35 Hydras, they get picked off one after the other. GG gets called, and Nice ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, the win condition for Nice, even though he couldn't expand, was to build up and max out. He was able to max out. Now, to be fair, because there was no 5th base, Nice was all in. Nice, he was completely all in there. It was win. It was just like end the game or die trying, right? Either kill Lambo or die trying for Nice. And what's important there is that the Lurkers weren't able to protect the natural. We were able to bypass those Lurkers. The Corruptors were out of position. Lurkers went down to the carriers. The natural base was shut down, and when the Corruptors showed up, they just took every storm to the face. Nice very quickly snowballed out of control. Things escalated very quickly there, and Nice takes the win. GG. GG, well played. Again, he was all in as well. Like Lambo, he just had to buy some time there, try to hold on. Unfortunately, wasn't ready for it. We were talking about how his anti-ground army was lacking a little bit there, and even his anti-air army was lacking, and GG. GG, well played. We are now tied up 1-1. We have that back and forth. Let's go. And that is huge because, I'll be honest, Nice, remember, he delayed his tech. If you remember, he delayed his Lurker tech, his Hive tech, his upgrades. He was putting a lot on the line there, and he failed to break his opponent. He failed to break Nice in that trade. He actually lost a lot there. And then after that failed push, then he started to work towards his Lurkers, towards his upgrades, towards everything else. Everything was delayed as a result, and it did mean that there was a window of opportunity there for Nice to take advantage of. On top of that, it was a shame that Lebo was split up. If you remember, when the push occurred, Lebo had his army split in half, but here we go. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have Bjorn for Shopify, and in the top right, we have Stats for Twisted Fairy. But that's another, maybe even a bigger factor, is the fact that, if you remember, Lambert, he had his army split up, he had his Corruptors across the map, he had his Lurkers exposed. Because of that, Nice was able to break 2 armies at a time. Like, he was able to deal with one army first, and then the other, instead of dealing with Lambert at his fullest, at his strongest altogether. So there's kind of a lot that kind of factored into that as well. A lot that did factor in. You know, on the one hand, sure, Lambert's counterattack did mean that Nice was all in, but really he was already all in. Like, the denying the 5th base and breaking into the natural didn't really add anything there for Lambert, didn't really help him in that situation. As Bjorn Babi, we are mining through the right-hand side. We're going for a proxy Rax. Let's go. Okay, so it's 1 Rax back at home. I imagine this is going to be... I'm curious. I'm curious if this is going to be a 2nd Rax across the map. Based on its positioning, it looks like it's not. We could spice things up with even a proxy factory. We'll see. SCV is in position. Yeah, we're waiting for the Rax to finish. And there it is, the factory's on the way. Now, with this proxy factory, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a proxy factory with a proxy starport alongside it. I don't think we can lift the factory into the main base. I think that's a little bit too spicy here, and I don't think the main base is big enough, especially based on Stats' positioning with his Reaper Wall-off. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a proxy starport, but we'll see. We'll see if we try to lift into the main, if we are that crazy. This factory is soon to finish. Meanwhile, Stats went for a standard opener, went for a gate cyber expand. Yep, there it is, proxy starboard. Yeah, makes sense. Does make sense. Now, this is very committed here by Bjorn. This is very, very committed. This needs to get damage done. Stats has not scouted this. He is not confirmed. Back at home, Bjorn amassing Marines. This is going to be a short one. Oh, boy. Here we go. I mean, this is like borderline 1 base all in from Bjorn. I think I want to call it a 1 base all in. Like, the natural is so late here. It's so delayed. There it is. We are expanding. We are working on that next step. But because it's so late, we need, like, there's that much more onus here on this to get damage done. As we're dropping into the main. It's going to be about how quickly Stats can react, and what does he have to work with? I believe he has a handful of Stalkers. Twilight Council's on the way. Another gateway as well. We have 2 Stalkers towards a natural and a shield battery. But what is in the main? No shield battery, no pylon for it either. No Stalkers in position. This can get damage done. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. There we go. 3 Hellions do one-shot a probe. And they're in the dark. Stats has no vision of the main base. Dives into the middle line. Probes are going down. Can we split? So far, 4 probes go down. We get 5. We get 6 as well. 7, 8 probes falling. An insane 11 probes go down. An insane amount of damage. And Bjorn has done enough already. And he's still not done, by the way, because the 3 Hellions are still alive. Even with a shield battery, we still one-shot. 13 probes go down. 16 for, oh my god, this is game ending. 18 workers, that is over a mineral line. And at this point, yeah, Bjorn, he knows, may as well just sack them. Sack the Hellions and get as much as we can, as much as we can. 19 probes. Can we get 20? No shot. Not quite, but 19 is still far more than we needed. Bjorn is already floating back home. His CC may have been delayed, but again, he did what he needed to. Now, the downside here is that Bjorn is vulnerable. So a couple of things. Because the factory and the starport are floating over, there's no medevacs. There's also no tank production. So Stats needs to counterattack here and now. There's no tanks, there's no medevacs, there's no Banshee, there's none of that. There's only Marine and bunkers. Marines and bunkers to defend. We are now getting into Marauder production. We are vulnerable to a Stalker counterattack. The Prism is on the way. Stats is not out of this. We have to bounce back. We have to hit back here and now. And Stats is pushing. Stats is pushing. Does get eyes on the bunker on the low ground. Remember, with Blink, we can bypass the low ground. We can go straight into the main. Blink is still a couple of seconds off. The bunker taking a lot of hits. Boys are being pulled. They're repairing. Bjorn is holding onto that natural, but here comes that Prism. Here comes that high ground. The high ground vision, I should say. And Stats, you can just ignore this. Now, is there a bunker in the main? That is what I'm curious about. We haven't quite seen the main base in a little bit of time here. But if no, there's no bunker in the main. Uh-oh. Okay, we're going for the natural. We just go for the natural. We focus it down. The bunker does fall. And Stim is not done. Bear that in mind. Boys are being pulled. Good target firing here by Stats. Does focus down one of those Marauders. We're going to keep pushing. We cannot back off. Stats needs to keep going. And once again, good target firing on those Marines. Only 2 SCVs have gone down, but Stim is about to finish. Again, we're on a timer with the completion of Stim. Bjorn can shut this down. He still needs a couple more seconds, though. And there it is on the right-hand side. 10 seconds away. Now we see Stats rotating into the main, but it's too late. Yeah, it is too late. Stim is done. Bjorn holds. As I say that, though, we go for a warp in with Zealots. Okay. Show us what you got. We're going for the split push. And how good is the micro here of Stats? He's deflected at the natural SCVs. A lot of them are going down. And 9 workers fall and lost mining time. Very nicely done. You can see Stats evening up the worker count. And we go for another warping of Zealots, and yeah, we're breaking through the main. Reinforcements have arrived. We get the medevac. Good pickoff. With the death of a medevac, that will soften up, I should say, that will weaken the counterattack. As once this gets deflected, Bjorn, I'm sure, wants to go for some drop play. He wants to move out with drops, and oh, he does catch a couple of Stalkers. Again, Stats has to be careful. Back at home, Immortal production has commenced. We have the Bay on the way for Colossi, 3rd base as well. Now the question becomes, can Stats defend now? Can he defend against this counter push that is soon going to be coming? We have Stim, +1, concussive shell on the way. Yeah, Bjorn is pushing. The steel feels on a knife's edge. He goes for the Prism. A brutal siege there from the War Prism. It does go down. We catch the Stalkers as well. Big pickoffs, and Stats, he's in trouble. The pendulum swings from one player to the other. Thankfully for Stats, these medevacs are out of energy. They've been working overtime here, keeping this army alive. Stats has high ground. He has force fields. And a shield battery as well. Good setup. A good setup at the third, but Bjorn, he rotates around. He avoids the third base, going for the natural instead. Bjorn doesn't have too much here at the third, but there we go. Does go for the drop. Stats getting pulled apart here. We do have the overcharge. The overcharge does help out. Immortals, they get caught though. The Immortals, they focus them down one after the other. Oh, these are expensive losses for Stats. And this is getting out of hand. Yeah, GG gets called. It's just too much. And Bjorn takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very strong start for Bjorn, getting 19 probe kills at the start of the game. That was brutal. I spoke about how going for a proxy factory and starport is so committed. You have to get so much done, because it isn't just because your production is out there and of course you're investing into a fast Hellion job, but also because your production is floating back home, which means there are no tanks, which means your defense is weakened. But Bjorn held. Bjorn, he was able to cripple the economy, he was able to hold on back at home, buy enough time for stim, and bounce back. GG, well played. Again, very intense game there. And Bjorn fights back for his team, but can Stats tie it up? As a reminder, it is loser's pick. Loser's pick here in WTL. And because there's no vetoes, honestly, 1-1 scores are more common than not. They're much more common here. The power of loser's pick is actually quite huge, especially in this map pool, where there's just so much variety in the maps. There's so many quirky features in a lot of these maps. Getting into our second game and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Bjorn for Shopify. And in the bottom right, we have Stats for Twisted Fairy. Oh, there was a discussion about max packs and hero, as there always is. Did Stats probe scout? Ooh. I know that if he did probe scout, I don't think he did. If he did probe scout in that last game, he didn't get into the main base because, if you remember, Bjorn went Marine first. And I remember that, yeah, the probe, if it did get across the map, did not get into the main at least. But I wasn't too sure. Regardless, we are settling in. Probe does check the linear third base first, just to make sure there's no shenanigans here from Bjorn as we get across the map, making sure we get a read on our opponent. As Stats is going for his Nexus, it is going to be a gate expand into Cybercore. Probe does arrive. Does confirm the Rax timing, and we do back off from here. Just making sure we can disrupt the opener. Again, with the single gas opener from Bjorn, it is a Rax expand for a CC on the low ground. There it is, it has been thrown down. Stats unable to delay it for too much longer. But with Stats seeing that CC, he's fully aware of the build. He's fully aware of it. Is where the Bjorn is, of course, being more economic, and we can ease our way into game number 2. Let's go. Now, on a map as small as Goldenore, I imagine we're going to be seeing another Twilight Council opener, but we'll see. The Stargate play is still, of course, very viable, getting into an Oracle first or a Phoenix, but typically it is considered a little bit safer to go into a Twilight Council instead, as Bjorn is being greedy behind this. Oh my god! That is a third CC before Factory, before even second Rax. Let's go. All of one gas geyser. This should be 3 CC into 3 racks from Bjorn. Not the first time we've seen this from him. Usually we see this on larger maps, though. On maps like Post-Youth or Alcyone, for example. We've seen this build more commonplace on those larger maps, just because you're cutting so many corners. Again, the downside of this build from Bjorn is no tanks, right? No tanks, no map control either, no drop play to work with, very limited scouting. No scouting whatsoever. We have actually seen Bjorn die to all-ins when he plays like this, just because he has no idea what's coming. Again, Bjorn, no Reaper, no Hellion. His only way to scout really is scans. as his 3-rack setup is underway. Now, thankfully, Stats is going Twilight Council, not Stargate. And it looks like he's not going into, he's not going into a gateway heavy composition or a gateway heavy opener. It is 2-gate blink into a 3rd. So, economic build by Stats, which means Beyond should get away with this. If Stats had gone for something like 4-gate blink, then Beyond could be in some trouble. We could try to abuse Beyond and focus on Marines, and even with Beyond rushing into Stim, he wouldn't have any medevacs to sustain himself, so Stats could have made some headway if he had opened up more aggressively. But Stats doesn't know what Beyond's doing, Stats doesn't know how greedy Beyond is, so Beyond is getting away with this. Stats is just now getting into blink, working towards his observer. And we can see kind of the variety here, or kind of the wide breadth of play that Beyond has in his disposal. To be hyper aggressive in game 1 and be hyper greedy here in game 2. He's willing to play it all. Now we do see Stats moving out with his Stim timing, but there's no warp gate, there's no warp prism, for example, with this. There's no way to reinforce. He's moving out, there's a bunker in position. Beyond should be okay. Gonna catch a couple of spotter Marines, but Beyond is aware of the army, getting in position. Stats can always blink into the main, but likewise Beyond is keeping up with the rotation, keeping up with the movement of Stats. And now Stats confirms that the 3rd is already done. He doesn't just see the 3rd, he sees it's already in orbital as well. Now Stats knows how greedy he's been. He sees the timing of the starport, the timing of the add-ons on the factory. He knows. So now Stats is aware of what Beyond is gotten away with. Again, he can't really punish this. He just has to try to contain for as long as possible, to delay the 3rd base of Beyond. So Stats is working on his Immortal production. Bay is on the way for Colossi. The pressure right now is on Stats more than anything, as there's that 3rd base soon to be taken. As we mentioned, Stats has to try and delay. But I'm not sure if he can. Yeah, we have Stim. We force back the army. As we even chase down one of those Stalkers. Good pickup here by Beyond. Good use of that Stim. And the 3rd base is now up and running. Scan even catches the Observer. Nice catch there by Beyond. Meanwhile, Stats, of course, is aware of the base, is getting into his 4th. Working towards charge. Beyond with his boosted economy, rushing into Ghosts already here. The Ghost Academy on the way. And now Beyond is broken free, is being active on the map. We have a double drop towards the main. We have a push towards the 4th. And can Stats keep up? Charge is not done. Those are slow lots, by the way. Slow lots to defend. Thankfully, there's limited kiting here in the main. That's a lot of Zealots going down, though. Yeah, we're going for the Twilight Council as well. Can we snipe it? We can! It's close! We do snipe it. Charge will not complete. Big pick-off. At the same time, though, we shut down the medevacs, and we throw away a big chunk of army. I'm torn. Was that worth it here? That was 2 medevacs worth of units with Marauders involved as well, and 1 medevac was sniped. At the same time, though, we denied charge. Does mean that this push from Stats is that much weaker. At the same time, Beyond, with much less army supply to work with. Here come the Colossi. Stats is pushing in. Here we go. You can see him trying to catch any stray medevac, any stray drop play. He drops from Beyond. Meanwhile, Stats working towards the gold. Restarting charge. You can see Stats, he's unable to find anything out on the map. And he's not committing. He's not pushing in. The War Prism has arrived, though. Now we can reinforce. Again, unfortunately not with charge lots, but still. The armies miss each other. Uh-oh. Things are about to get a little bit rowdy here as Beyond turns back around. He's racing back home. We do force a cancel on the 4th. Rush distance by ground on Goldenor isn't too long. Bjarni gets back home. Just in time, Kalaskin going for the surround. Oh, doesn't commit. Warpin does complete. Big EMPs here on those Zealots. And the Zealots there, they cannot touch this army. They're slow lots, Papi. They're being kited to death. One Colossus goes down. We take down the Prism as well. And Bjarni chases this back. Shuts down more of these Zealots. Oof. Yeah, these are expensive losses here. A lot of Zealots going down. The Colossus is exposed as well. And Bjarni snowballing out of control. He's up in supply. We have nothing to defend here. No more robo-based units, no Immortals, no Disruptors, no Colossi, no nothing. We have slow lots though. Zealots go down. Charge now finishes up, but there's barely anything to make use of it. Barely any Zealots left. We have the overcharge, but it doesn't even matter. The DPS is too damn high. And Bjarni, Sims on 40s, going for the kill, going for the throats. The Colossi doing what it can. Gets a couple of swipes off, but it will fall as well. And yeah, you can see their stats. Shaking his head a little bit on cams, not happy about the situation, but knows that there's nothing else he really can do here. It is a numbers game as we came to the production. We deny the Colossus. Oof. And with this, Bjarni, he's going to be taking a lead here for his team. The Shopify. A pretty substantial one. Stats, he warps in one final wave of gateway units, leans back in his chair. Not like this, Papi, not like this. GG gets called, and Bjarni will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Shopify take a lead season of GSL. He needs to put that much more effort into these online tournaments, into WTL, and into other events as well. And that led into 2 days ago. If you were here, you would have seen Classic, he clowned on Max Packs. He 2-0'd Max Packs, this was 2 days ago, and he 3-0'd Solar. Classic, he was this week's Kung Fu Cup champion. He 3-0'd Solar, he 2-0'd Max Packs, he 2-1 Bjarni. Classic went on a tear a couple of days ago, and we spoke about how because Classic is not in GSL, again, these tournaments mean that much more to Classic. So, best of luck to Harsum. Here we go in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Harsum for Shopify Rebellion. And in the top right, we have his opponent, we have Classic for Twisted Fairy. Now, as is being pointed out in the chat, Harsum is playing in ESL at the moment, in EPT Spring, if I recall correctly, the regionals. This series was played ahead of time. This was played ahead of time, submitted. No one knows the outcome of this series except for those that were involved, Harsum and Classic themselves. So, yes, these were played ahead of time, and this is a replay cast for this specific best of 2. Beyond vs Stats was live. Beyond vs Stats was live. This is submitted, and here we go. We're getting into our PvP. Again, can Harsum do what Max Packs could not? Can Harsum take a game? As a reminder, Harsum only needs one game here against Classic. Only one. And predictions are open. Predictions in the chat are open. Place your bets. You have like 30 seconds. You have a couple of seconds here to place your bets. Get them in while you can. Best of luck with your predictions. Here we go. I see in chat, Stats is ridiculous attacking without charge. Well, I mean, what else could he do? That's the thing. Like, because of the opener, winding it back a little bit, because of Bjarni's greed, because he had gotten away with so much, there was so much pressure on Stats to move out. So I don't blame him for moving out initially. It was just such a shame he got caught out in the center, in the middle of the map. Remember, he got surrounded. He got collapsed on from 2 angles. I don't think Stats really intended to commit there. As Harsum, are we going for a 1-base all-in? Cybercore is finishing. Show me the Robo. Pylon is done, and it is going to be the Robo. Okay, Harsum going for the 1-base all-in. Meanwhile, Classic back at home, going for a Gate Cyber Expand. Okay. Here we go. So Classic is being more economic. He's being greedy. Classic is basically doing his best Max Packs impression. Oh boy. So Classic going for a gate expand, did go double gas, but he goes for the Nexus before the Stargate. Zelda's coming in, and Zelda scouts. Classic, he's aware of the all-in, but knowing is half the battle. Remember, Classic, he delayed his tech, he delayed his now Robo for that faster Nexus, but can he defend? Can he hold on to that base? Because Hearthstone, he's coming. Here we go. That's Hell getting a lot of damage done. Can we focus on the pylon? The pylon, it's going to go down. It's going to fall. Big delay here. Bearing in mind, Hearthstone, he's all in. Time is working against him here. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. And that is a massive delay. A massive pick-off. Hearthstone even getting supply blocked. No. The supply block, the, of course, delayed Prism. Adepts are shading across the map. Classic is in position. So far, good start for Classic. A good start for the Red Protoss. Pylon does repower the Robo. Gateway's on the way. Getting back into the War Prism. And Classic is getting into his own Immortal production. Fun fact, because of that delay, Classic's Immortal is faster than Hearthstone's. Like Classic, he has faster Immortal production, which is wild, by the way. But Hearthstone is going for a bit of a Hail Mary play. I mean, I say that he's going to harass the main base, heading into the main with that War Prism, with those Adepts. Does get a probe. It's one probe so far. Gets a second. The rest of the army is in position. We do shade in towards that natural, but there's nothing to kill. Nothing here for those Adepts. So good defense so far by Classic, only losing 2 probes. You can see Hallucination chasing down that Prism, keeping an eye on the army. First Immortals are out. Classic delaying, or because of the lost mining time, his second Immortal is delayed. We're going for the Prism. Oh, Prism takes a lot of hits. Does take some hull damage. Hearthstone has to be very careful with this. Does arrive with that second Immortal. We're going for the Force Fields. And good Force Fields here from Hearthstone. But we have the counter drop play. Hearthstone and Classic diving on each other. Classic down in Immortals. Has to back off. Does have to retreat to a shield battery, to the overcharge. Ooh. Bleeding out too much here. A Stalker goes down. A Sentry goes down. Classic, he's in a lot of trouble. He bled out far too much. You can see Hearthstone going for a split push. Now, Classic, he has gone into a second Immortal. That's a lot of Adepts. And we go for the Pylon. The Pylon is going to go down. A brutal pick-off. We depower one of the gateways. Classic is up against the wall. Hearthstone pushing in. Yeah, he dives on the shield battery. Shield battery goes down. The overcharge, not even a factor here. And it looks like Hearthstone, he has enough. He has too much. Forcing his way through. And Hearthstone has been doing very well in the regionals, by the way, of EPT. And he is doing what MaxPax could not. GG gets called. Hearthstone with the 1 base all-in. Despite this start, despite the depowered Robo, he does break through and he will win it here for Shopify Rebellion. GG, Papi. Oh my god. GG, well played. Shopify will win it in the end here. That is going to be the 4th win for Shopify. We will still play out game number 2, but Hearthstone, he did his job. He did what was required of him. He takes game number 1, pulls off the 1 base all-in. Again, Classic, a little bit too overconfident, pushing out on the map the way that he did. On top of that, Classic delayed his second Immortal as well. He had a rough fight outside of his natural. Things just very quickly snowballed out of control. And here we go. We're diving into game number 2. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Hearthstone for Shopify. And in the top left, we have as opponent, we have Classic for Twisted Fairy. And, okay, look. It's still kind of the start of the year. We're still in the early months, kind of. Jeez, how the months have flown by here in 2024. But is this the year? Finally, is this the year of Hearthstone? Are we here? Have we made it? Is it happening, Bob? Again, Hearthstone, he's been doing well for himself over in EPT Europe. Popping off against Showtime, popping off against Skillus. Does Hearthstone have the best PvP in Europe? Is his PvP better than MaxPax? Possibly. It's crazy. It's on fire. The content man himself. Let's go. Let's go, Papi. I'm telling you, watching all those, what's the name of the show? Watching all those, like, hidden MMR replays. Watching all the diamond players, the match, it's paying off. Let's go. As we're loading into Side Delta. Now, Side Delta is known for its more greedy play. Ooh. Hearthstone, are we doing it again? So, because there's a ramp at the natural base of Side Delta, it is very common to go for gate expands. It's very common to go for these economic builds. Classic, once again, going for a gate expand. Hearthstone opening up with a proxy. Now, based on the pylon placement, this looks like a proxy Stargate. This does not look like a one-base all-in. Again, this pylon, it's too far away. It's too far away for a robo. I want to say that. Show us the Stargate. We're waiting for the Cybercore. Cybercore finishes up, and there it is. Stargate opener here from Hearthstone. Okay, so Hearthstone is going for a more economic build himself. What I mean by that is that this Stargate is designed to go into Oracle production, to harass across the map, and to cripple the economy of Classic as Hearthstone gets into his own natural. Not an all-in. But Classic is scouting. Oh. Classic, he is checking, he is scouting, and he does not come across the proxy. Barely. You can see him on the mini map. He does end up going south, does miss it in the end. And I thought Twisted Fairy was leading, misreading the score. All good, all good. We're almost halfway through. I know, right? I know. We're almost halfway through the year. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like it was just January. I feel like we just had IM Katowice. Which we kind of did, but still. As Classic is going for a safety Void Ray back at home. Void Ray before expand. Ooh. Okay. Basically, Classic is getting ready for an all-in. Yeah, safety shield battery on the way as well. From the side of Classic, and say shade into the main. We don't commit. Do get one probe on the low ground. Oracle into the main base. Oracle into the main. We get two probes. We back up. Oracle does escape. And just like that, Hearthstone has a worker lead for now. Classic does have the faster Nexus, so... Oh, wait, never mind. Hearthstone has a faster Nexus. Didn't realize how heavily Classic delayed his expansion. Remember, he went Stargate and a second pylon before that Nexus. Okay. So, Hearthstone looking pretty good. Looking pretty good right now. The Oracle survived. It looks like the Stargate is going to be shut down. Classic has found it. But yeah, Hearthstone able to take a worker lead, able to maintain it as well. Hearthstone already transitioning into Blink Stalkers. Blink is on the way. Hearthstone just, honestly, he's just ahead. He's just ahead right now. Oh my god. Like, it did feel like Classic overreacted or just assumed the worst. He assumed that it was going to be a one-way solo and he was preparing for a push that never came. And we do manage to get another probe. Manage to get another probe here at the natural. As the pressure is on Classic. The individual player matchups posted anywhere in advance? Yes, on Wikipedia. I believe once they are determined internally, they are updated on Wikipedia. As we get a stasis across the map. Classic popping. Oh my god! Popping off, getting every single probe in that mineral line. I believe there's only one worker left mining, but we also got a gas mining probe as well. So I want to say 16 probes get caught. Massive stasis there from Classic. And this is how we bounce back. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Hearthstone had a strong start here, but Classic, he is one of the best Protoss players in the world. Classic is not going down without a fight. As here we go, Hearthstone is pushing. Blink is about to finish. This is a very strong Blink timing here for Hearthstone. Gets a probe. Oh, catches the Oracle as well. Very nicely done. Oracle goes down. Harsum pushing in. Shield battery a little bit too far away. The wall, the ramp is exposed. We got a pylon, we got the sentry. Remember, Blink is done. Good control here out of Harsum. Forcing his way in. Oh, doesn't quite get the Stalker. Bleeds out one of his own. Classic does hold. Harsum calming things down. Now remember, Harsum has high ground vision. If he wanted to, he could try to go into the main with that Oracle. He could bypass the natural. He's thinking about it. There we go, working his way towards that main. Back behind this, Harsum expanding, taking a third. Going for the stasis instead. Ooh, Harsum bleeds out 2 Stalkers. Bit of miscontrol there from our blue Protoss. And a nice catch, a nice bait from Classic. Yeah, shuts down the stasis. Void Ray arrives as well, and Harsum gets forced back. Good engage from Classic. Harsum still maintains the Stalker lead. And he still maintains his economy as well. Remember, there's that third. It's halfway done. Classic still has not begun. So there we go, just now gets thrown down. Here we go. There's a page for the regular season. Exclamation mark V in the chat if you guys want to link to the Wikipedia page yourselves. There you go. We have our commands. We got you covered, Bappy. We got you covered. And now the game is settling from here. Both players expanding. Harsum still with his worker lead. He's up almost 10 probes compared to Classic. Getting into his own Immortal production. Still has the Stalker lead as well, I believe. Oh, my apology. Classic's getting into Immortals. Meanwhile, Harsum's sticking with a Gateway-based army. Stalkers and Zealots. As Harsum is reinforcing, moving out here and now. Can he cash an Immortal? Oh, not quite. Good reaction out of Classic. Force fields are thrown down. The Immortal gets caught out. Oh, the juggling. Classic does barely save the Immortal, but sentries are going down one after the other. Classic, he will hold though. Stace is catching a couple of Stalkers. And 3 Stalkers get caught. Void Ray goes down. Ooh, Harsum bleeding out a lot of units though. Does have to pull back that one Immortal, putting in a lot of work for Classic. And so many Stalkers go down. And these Zealots a little bit too late. And Classic should be able to hold on here. Yeah, good juggling. Harsum heals a lot of Stalkers in that fight, but he goes for the Immortal. Oh, barely does get it. The Immortal goes down as Stalker versus Stalker. More Zealots coming in though, and Classic he overwhelms. GG gets called. Harsum bleeding out far too much, losing his entire army. And Classic does get his revenge here, tying up the series 1-1. A good performance there out of Classic towards the end, but Shopify do take the win. They take the win 4-2. Lambo and Nice were 1-1. Harsum and Classic, but once again, Shopify, they rely on Bjorn for the 2-0. Just like round 1. Bjorn has yet to lose a game in WTL, not yet at least, against their first 2 rounds, against their first 2 opponents. But a shout to Harsum. Big shout to Harsum. He was able to, again, really pop off here tonight. There was so much going against Harsum. Classic has been on fire as of late, but it is the year of Harsum. And Harsum, he does manage to bring it back here for his team. GG. GG, well played. A clutch win there from Harsum. And with that, I'm looking forward to it. But again, if you want some more WTL action, tomorrow in less than 24 hours, we're going to be live here on the channel. Tomorrow we also have Sparkling Tuna Cup, so 2 tournaments back to back. 2 tournaments back to back here, and again, we're not done. We are not done here tonight. We have another broadcast that's coming up in 20 minutes. We might as well... Do we keep the stream going? I'm torn. I'm a little bit torn here, but we may as well keep the stream going. The stream is going to be going on an extended break. It's going to be an extended break here. A tournament that's starting up in 20 minutes is the Hatchery Cup. The Hatchery Cup. Actually, you know what? I can do something here. Hold on. We have the technology. That was Kung Fu Cup. Not what I wanted to look at. Here we go. Bam! You can see it here on your screen. The Hatchery Cup is starting up in 20 minutes, and we're going to be featuring the players that are not competing in EPT. We have in tonight's EPT matches, we have Cristiano, we have Shameless, Mindel VK, Gref, Geralt, Young Machine. Oh, that's GG Machine. I was like, Young Yakov, not quite. GG Machine, Nikaract, UED Soldier. We have players from around Europe. We have some Polish players. We have some Ukrainian players. We have players from Russia as well. And this is open to all, to be fair. It is an open tournament to all, and it is starting up in 20 minutes. So, yeah, we'll see you guys then. We'll see you guys then. The stream is going to be going for a bit of an extended break, and then we'll be back with some more StarCraft. Oh, we don't stop here, Papi. We don't stop. We don't end. We should, but we have StarCraft to cast. Always, Papi. Always casting. Also, I just saw Maddox. You weren't following? If you're still there, Este Maddox. Hope you're doing well, Papi. Hope you're doing well. Aye. But yes, we're going to be going on a break. Again, if you want some more World Team League, we got you covered tomorrow. Likewise, we have Sparkling Tuna Cup tomorrow as well. And we'll be back in 20 minutes. Otherwise, you can enjoy EPT Spring. EPT Spring Europe is currently going on. And I think Hearthstone is also playing in that tournament as well. I believe Hearthstone versus Hero Marine is starting up soon. Or did it already begin? They're mid-series. Okay, Hearthstone versus Hero Marine is mid-series, so if you want to tune into that TVP, they got you covered. Otherwise, we're going to be going in a short break. We'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Until then, thanks for watching. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. ! Socials in the chat. And we'll see you guys after the break.